What up, folks? I'm back once again doing another video game review. This time I'm reviewing Contra Hard Corps, which was released for the Sega Genesis by Konami, and it's pretty much a exclusive for that particular system. And Contra Hard Corps is pretty much a two-player co-op shooter, pretty much like the majority of the Contra games within the series. And the plot behind this particular game is that Colonel Bahamut, a rogue officer, pretty much stole alien cell and has intentions of using it as a weapon on humanity and stuff. But instead of Bill Lance being the protagonist in this case, there's four characters who serves as the protagonist in this game. You can pick like one of them to play as. They're Ray Powart, Sheena Itarinzi, or something like that. I know I'm butchering her last name. Then there's Brad Fang, a robotic wolf, and Brownie, a cyborg. One thing about and those four characters have been pretty much been hired to stop this colonel from using this alien cell. One thing about the game is that not only can you pick one of them, each character has their own set of weapons that you can use in the game. Like Ray, for example, can use the spread gun, and no other Contra game in the series has it where each character has their own set of weapons that you can choose for characters to begin with. And not only that, with Contra Hard Corps, there's pretty much 5 weapon slots that's in the heads-up display. So, and once you get each weapon, you can pick between them through the course of the game. And the last slot is for the bombs. Pretty much the bombs that's used in Contra 3, the Alien Wars. So picking a weapon after you get it and using bombs are pretty much similar to Contra 3 in that effect. But another thing that sets Contra Hard Corps apart from the other Contra games is that it has to do with the stages. And now, this particular game has 7 stages, but there's 2 specific things that make it different. One is that the 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 6th stages have multiple paths to them, and Contra Hard Corps also has 6 different possible endings to it, which makes it different from any other Contra game in the series. And the 6 possible endings is pretty much what you see in a RPG, like say Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior. So this is like more like a side note. The thing with multiple endings and different paths could have been used in other Contra games, but it seemed like they just chose to not take advantage of it. And another thing, the stage paths kind of pretty much remind me of not Contra 3, but Castlevania 3 for the NES. It's pretty much safe to say it was inspired by that particular game. And as far as the gameplay, it's pretty much similar. The first stage to me is pretty similar to the first stage in Contra 3 for the Super Nintendo. I don't know if anybody else saw that similarity, but I definitely did. Now the graphics and gameplay. Not I don't want to talk about the gameplay now, but the graphics and level designs are pretty good. Like I said, and both are pretty similar from an overall perspective. It's kind of like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Um, the graphics and level designs are good, and they are pretty much similar to Contra 3, but they hold their own, in my opinion. And another thing about it is that it doesn't have the overhead stages that Contra 3 has. For some, that's pretty much a relief because everybody didn't like those overhead stages in Contra 3. And the gameplay is it's pretty good, you know, especially since you can not only can pick your own character, but you could it's also the fact that you have each character have their own set of weapons that you can select, and you have more weapons to choose from too, which is something that's not in Contra 3. Now the other thing it has to do with the soundtrack. The soundtrack is good, but it's not as good as what you would find in Contra 3 Alien Wars. And one thing that is that gamers do prefer Contra Hard Corps over Contra 3, mainly because they don't like the overhead stages of Contra 3, which is fair, you know. But me, I personally prefer Contra 3 over Contra Hard Corps mainly because of the design of the Super Nintendo controller over the Sega Genesis controller. I like the design of the Super Nintendo controller. Now, Contra Hard Corps is a very good game, and I pretty much recommend it to anyone who's a Contra fan, and I would recommend it for anybody who has a Sega Genesis, pretty much. Now, as far as the score is concerned, I would definitely give it an 8. With that being said, if you like Contra Hard Corps, and even if you prefer it over Contra 3, you can mention it in the comment section. If you like this review, don't hesitate to thumbs it up. And don't forget to subscribe. This is your boy, Big Metroid Fan 12, signing off.